everyone, my name is Mary or Hawk. Welcome back to another video. If I seem a little out of it, I've had to re-record this video like 20 times due to stumbling over my words, and I will likely continue to stumble over my words, so please bear with me as I correct myself in the moment because I am not re-recording again. This post is for United States and United States occupied territories based witches, occultists, magical practitioners, and spiritual people. This post is inspired by a Threads post from a witchcraft and occult shop owner, Jennifer of Belladonna's Botanicals. I will link their shop in the description. In the Threads post by Belladonna's Botanicals, the owner, Jennifer, mentions that oils and other ritual tools that are in glass bottles will be impacted by tariffs and likely going up in price. They mention the urgency for people to get their oils, should they choose to shop from them, sooner rather than later. So, one, the oils and products that you get are still fresh, but also so they are still remotely affordable. Because again, the tariffs will drive prices of many of the things up, not only in their shop, but a lot of other witchcraft and occult shops too. And that being said, based on that Threads post, this is going to be the point of today's video. If you are a witch or magical practitioner, based in the United States especially, please buy your metaphysical ingredients, or whether they're oils, herbs, etc., now, or sooner rather than later, I should say, if you can't afford it now, before Trump's tariffs drive the product prices up beyond what you can afford, because I know a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, myself included. I will add that even if the company you're purchasing from is based in the United States, many of the tools and ingredients that are part of the manufacturing process come from overseas. For instance, true Magick or Mandragorum officinarum or autumnalis, that is not grown natively in the United States. You would have to get that from overseas, or even the bottles, like the glass bottles here, those come from overseas. Those are often manufactured from overseas, so that is something to be aware of. Now, in the event that you won't be able to stockpile or repurchase something if you run out of it, now is the time to make and craft your own ritual tools. Find other herbs, whether they grow around you and can be foraged, or they're in your spice cupboard or rack, or even in your tea bags, and use those to energetically replace said previous ingredient in your magical practice until you can afford the original ingredient, should you even choose to repurchase it at all. And I'm going to now read from the other side of my notes. My other advice to people, this is going to be like gonna run by these quickly, but my other additional tips for those who are on a budget and will not be able to afford ritual tools or ingredients because of these tariffs, and also just the state of the US right now. Things are not very affordable, things are going up in price. My advice is this: one, get cheap or free local wildlife like flora, that type of thing, flora, fauna, foraging guide, and also get several free plant identification apps. A good one is Seek by iNaturalist, I believe, and be sure to cross-reference your field guide and plant identification apps, or even just Google, like, reverse image search, because many things can look identical to other plants, like juvenile poison hemlock, also Queen Anne's lace, and yarrow, when they're in, like, the juvenile flowering stage, can look pretty similar. If they're just popping out of the ground, like with just the bloom head, they can look pretty similar to each other, so knowing what you're foraging and being able to cross-reference is very important for your own safety. That being said, many of your ritual herbs can indeed be foraged. Plus, you get to connect with the land and the spirit of these plants more intimately when you go out there and take only what you need, or for your practice. Do not over-harvest, just take only what you need. Less is more. Also, another point to this is reuse, reduce, recycle, or upcycle. Do you have old essential oil bottles lying around? I know I do. I use those for my ritual oils. That's what I use to put my ritual oils in. Do you have old jam jars? Yeah, you can use that for or old bottles and stuff like that, like glass bottles. You can use those to have your master oil or like the bulk of your ritual oil in, and then you can just dispense it into little bottles like this that you can carry around. Also, if your essential oil bottle comes with a dropper automatically, that is fantastic. Save one of those bottles with the droppers after the essential oil has been used up. Save that aside so you can use the bottle dropper to dispense the oil from your main jar where the bulk oil is, the bulk ritual oil that you made is, and you can use the dropper to drop or dispense that bulk oil into a bottle like this without having to purchase a funnel. I hope that made sense there. I know that was pretty wordy, but essentially you can DIY spell oils and dispense things without needing a funnel. Also, if you must shop, if you need something, if it is an integral part of your practice and you cannot replace it with anything that grows around you or that's in your spice or tea cupboard, in that case, if you must shop, I advise you to thrift when possible and support local and small businesses who may also be struggling under the tariffs. That is something that is important. Also, additionally, I might have said this before, but please raid your spice rack and also raid your teas. Look at the ingredients. A lot of the teas that you find, they can be single ingredient or some can be multi-ingredient, and those ingredients in those teas can be used in your magical workings. Also, if you have oil, or if you could buy oil like grapeseed, olive, etc., to use in your ritual oils, that is a great idea. Like, use those as a base. I highly recommend, as long as they're still affordable. Also, another bit of advice I have, grow your own herbs if and when applicable. And that's really important. Like, if you can garden in your apartment, indoors, on your balcony, in your backyard, front yard, whatever the case may be, do that. Do that. Absolutely invest in gardening. That is going to be really important to keep things relatively affordable. If and when applicable, of course. And last, but certainly not least, in my suggestions is to rock hound for stones. This is a bit of quartz that is iron coated. This is found on Lake Huron, on the lake shore. Rock hound for stones, so long as it's legal in your area to do so. Quartz is incredibly common. You can use plain iron coated or clear quartz to amplify your workings and intentions, and also get creative and stay curious. That's something that I also recommend. Like, if your intuition is saying, hey, you know, this ingredient may not be traditionally used, this ingredient, like cinnamon, I don't know, if cinnamon is not traditionally used for whatever intention you're going for, but your intuition says, hey, yeah, I actually need to use it for my ritual oil, go ahead and use that. Trust your intuition, be thrifty, reduce, reuse, recycle, grow what you can, forage, but take only what you need. Raid your spice cupboard and spice racks and teas, bulk tea if you have it. Also, if you have like old essential oil bottles, absolutely reuse those for your ritual oils. If you have old mason jars and jam jars, or if you can thrift them, use those to have your bulk ritual oil in. If you have a old essential oil bottle that comes with the dropper, save that aside, cleanse it and clean it, obviously between oils and dispensing them, but use the dropper from that to dispense ritual oils into your essential oil bottles. That is my best advice. And also, yes, forage, get foraging guides, get foraging apps. That's very important. Get to know the land, get to connect with the land and the spirit of it, the spirit of the plants. That is going to be very important, especially. That being said, I hope this was helpful. Also, shop local and support your small businesses if you need to shop. That being said, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful for my fellow witches and magic practitioners based out of the United States or United States territories, or occupied territories, I should say. That being said, thank you for watching. Have a magical day. We can get through this together. Stay magical.